Hello, and welcome to The Discussion.
You get a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime sound of the river, you stop and you hold everything. A band is blowing Dixie, double fall time. You feel alright when you hear the music ring.
Today on The Discussion, we'll be discussing the history surrounding higher education finance in America and the political buzz and action surrounding it today. This is a jam-packed topic with a lot of history, so let's begin.
Higher education institutions have been around in America since before the Revolutionary War. Universities like Harvard, William & Mary, Yale, and Dartmouth were established as early as 1636. But at the time, college education was fairly exclusive. Without financing from England, the cost of operating a university made the price of an education way too high for most people. As a result, only the most wealthy men were able to attend these institutions. But those men who became educated were among the preeminent leaders in both religious and political arenas, as well as among the new generation of educators in America.
As years passed, a number of things changed in order to create more colleges and more opportunities for Americans to attend college and receive a higher education. Among the most notable changes was the Morrill Acts of 1862 and 1890. The Morrill Acts funded educational institutions by granting federally controlled land to the states for them to raise funds to establish and endow land-grant colleges. The goal of these colleges was to teach practical scientific and agricultural knowledge in response to the Industrial Revolution and changing social classes.
However, probably the most important legislative change that affected college attendance in the United States was the GI Bill of 1944. The GI Bill provided a grant to cover the total cost of a full-time education for as many as 3 years, and some 4.4 million of the 15 million veterans participating in the GI Bill went to college, and so a whole new population of people who previously would not have considered going to college for financial reasons went, creating the middle class we know today.
Since then, more and more people began to aspire to go to college. Nowadays, people see higher education as something everyone is encouraged or expected to do, rather than something people see as exclusively for the ultra-wealthy like before. However, in the 1970s and 1980s, the economic return of paying for college peaked, and in the last 2 decades, the price of attending college has kept climbing, carrying the cost of higher education to prohibitive levels. Yet, students and parents continue to sacrifice to attend college, often accumulating unruly debts due to complicated student loans.
In 2010, student loan debt made headlines when it actually surpassed credit card debt here in the United States. Today there is about $1 trillion in outstanding student loan debt in America. Graduates who received a bachelor's degree from a 4-year public school have a mean debt of about $8,000, and graduates of a 4-year private school have a mean debt of about $31,000.
Today, politicians agree that student loan interest rates need to be lowered in order to help aid the incredible debt. The problem, however, is a disagreement over where the money should come from. Democrats and Obama support a federal direct student loan program, while Republicans believe relief should come from the private sector.
Now, let's take the topic of higher education finance reform to the streets and see what the community of Wellesley has to say about it.
I think that college is certainly overpriced in this day and age, as the colleges can name their price, people are going to attend them regardless. Having said that, I think education is semi-necessary in today's job market.
I think student loans should be handled by the private sector. Government spending is already really high, and we need to cut costs in order to eliminate the debt.
The problem surrounding student loan debt in America is the promise of a college education. United States citizens believe that the promise of education is that you take on debt because it is an investment that will pay off because you'll graduate into a labor market that can take them and pay off those debts. However, this is not a labor market that can take them. Unemployment for the last several years has been extremely high in America. As a result, these students who need financial aid graduate with an enormous amount of debt and have no real way of paying them off. While I completely believe that every American should have the opportunity to receive higher education, I also believe students have to see student loans for what they are, an investment. An investment is not a promise, it is a risk.
For the past few years, the Senate has been bogged down trying to lower interest rates for students in an attempt to help relieve the mounting student loan debt problem. The problem is, in order to lower interest rates, or even keep them from rising, the federal government needs to reallocate money. This is where it becomes a political battlefield. Members of the Democratic Party want to take money from sources that Republicans disagree with, and Republicans propose taking money from sources that Democrats disagree with. For example, in the summer of 2012, the Senate worked to keep the interest rate from rising from 3.4% to 6.8%. However, the Democrats proposed getting the money by decreasing tax cuts on small businesses, something Republicans support, while the Republicans proposed cutting a preventative care fund created in 2010 as part of Obama's healthcare reform law. Eventually, the Senate was unable to reach a compromise and the interest rate rose. What America really needs when facing this overwhelming debt is bipartisanship.